Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of the Paris 13 Atletico Savers. We look to do it better than PSG, and in today's episode, it's a bit of a different one. We are here, we just finished episode 95. I've seen the day further from the end of that episode after we've accepted a bid to sell Tossin, and something that's never happened to me on Football Manager before in terms of being offered a job like this has never happened. The French national, the French FA have looked and said, look, we need a new manager after the European Championship because we didn't do it. We've currently got a spot available. We want you to be the manager because you've been the French national manager, French League national, or, the French League One manager of the year numerous times. They've come and headhunted me. I've never been headhunted for an international job before on FM. I've had jobs where I've gone into international management down the track in saves and stuff, so I've done it, but I've never gone in and obviously never have been headhunted such a big job. Instead of taking it or not taking it, because this is a decision that obviously is quite big, I've actually asked my poll to the side, the poll in my Discord, which the links are down below in the description, and do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. At the moment, we've had the simple poll, myself and Rodsy say yes, because I'm actually, even if it's not something we focus on until a World Cup comes around in 2 years' time, it might be something maybe during international breaks where it makes things a bit more interesting, and we could touch on it occasionally. And then when doing the World Cups around, we'll go, hey, look, here's the World Cup. As well. Secondly, it could also be a thing that we go, look, we are bigger than PSG because when's the last time the PSG manager then also was the French manager and won the World Cup? So would be a little string to that bow. Might be something a little bit different and maybe could even be a spin-off save. So my decision will be made overnight because I'm about to go to bed. But with that being said, I'm going to leave it up to the poll. As a YouTube episode, give it a like if you want me to do the job, firstly, right? And let me know in the comment section why not you want me to take the job. And do we make it a separate YouTube save, or do we include it as part of the Paris 13 Atletico save, because it happened within this save and correlates to the save, because there might be a world where we as French manager get to see some younger French talent that we can poach down the line, being the Paris 13 manager and the French manager. So I think there's a lot of things that are positive for it. The negatives are, it is meant to be just a one club save sort of thing. Is this detract from it? And the other negative could also be that it might make the game run a bit slower as well, but we can live with that too, even though the game loads really slow on FM23 this year. So links down below to get into Discord for any future polls, etc. Comment section down below. The episode's probably about a week behind from when this happened, give or take. I am going to look to get them up to date as quickly as possible. And then with that as well, a reason as to how do we do the content for the French stuff. Do we leave it part of the save? Do we not even acknowledge it and take the job? Or is it something that, only at the World Cup we would actually have a look at because the European Championship's just gone and that's that. Actually, how did they go in the European Championship? They lost in the quarterfinal to Italy in extra time. So they topped their group, won the second round, and then lost to Italy, who are a pretty formidable side. So, yeah, and have a look at the senior squad here quickly too. There's a couple aging boys, Manigan, Fernandez, Dayot, Comde, Lafont, Tusha Mendy's getting older, Melier, Kalu. There's a lot of 30-year-old plus there. It may be the case that we're taking charge of one last hurrah for this well-started French side to win a World Cup, and then the one in 8 years' time, 10 years' time from now, is the one where we bring through all the youngsters and all the regens that might be coming through as well. So with that being said, and without further ado, I'll leave it up to my poll, and I'll be back in tomorrow morning, YouTube, or, tomorrow afternoon when I'll come back from work, and let you know the outcome of the poll and if we're taking the job or not. It is the afternoon, or the day after, in the afternoon, evening, from when we were offered the French job. And as you can see from the top left-hand screen, we have taken it. The Discord was in unanimous voice. And, well, they have gone and said, Damien, you may as well do it. In terms of how we're going to produce the save in terms of with the French stuff as content, I don't know if it's just going to be embedded into the Paris 13 Atletico stuff, or if it's going to be its own little spin-off series. I don't know. But, look, with it being said, we have got the team here. We do have the Trophy du Champions. We've won every game in pre-season. We beat Real Madrid 2-0 with a team that is still missing a lot of players. But we have got the French squad here. And first thing I am going to say, that's what the team is picked without me having a look at the team. We are going to just go through the team here quickly. Then my initial thoughts. I have loaded up the 4-3-3 because that's what I would play, because that's what I'm using at Paris 13 Atletico. And then on top of that as well, before you guys are thinking, where's Mbappe? He has retired from international football. Before you're thinking, Damien, ask him to come out of international retirement. Apparently I can't see it. I have, and he rejected it. And that was only 2 days ago, so I don't know why Mbappe is rejecting it. Hasn't come through in the invoice there or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know why that is not there. I would love to show you that Mbappe is deciding not to come out of retirement. It only happened a couple of days ago as well. But yeah, I don't see it in there that Mbappe has rejected my call. Because I would have loved to give Mbappe one more go. But anyhow, so that's the team on paper. They did pick Mike Manigan to be the starting 11 keeper. Thing is, for me, in 2 years' time, he's probably retired at 37, so I'm looking for the next 2 years. And that's the goal with this. It's not to, oh my God, let's rebuild France. I'm 10 seasons in, 11 seasons in now, right? I'm not here to go, okay, France are on the cusp of going over the edge, which they are, which I did mention in the last part of the first part of this episode. I'm here to win the World Cup in 2 years, right? I'm here to win it. So Manigan, as much as he will maybe get some minutes in a couple of the games because he's still world class, I don't see him playing in the World Cup. So with that being said, your number one on paper with this team is Meslier, right? Meslier would be my number one going to the World Cup, and that's because we've seen him be world class on FM previously, and he's so broken on Football Manager. There we go. We are live on stream links down below. Come follow us live. Did we make the Euros? This is just after the Euros. The reason why we got the job is the French national manager at the time got knocked out by Italy in the quarterfinal. They sacked him, and then they came and headhunted me. So that's why I am in charge of France 11 seasons in. In terms of the back four, important to know, I've picked what I would pick. We'd play with a more defensively minded back four. Koundé's 33. World Cup's in 2 years' time. He'll be 35. I still think he'll be here. So Jules Koundé, there we go. Can I just say that's already two players over the age of 35 we looked at too. Fofana's another one. He's 31. Another player over the age of 30, right? In 2 years' time, he'll be 33. He'll still be world class as well. So I think he's fantastic. Kalou, 32. 2 years' time, he's 34, 35 for the World Cup. Still world class. I think he'll still be playing at that World Cup. So there he is. It is a very strong side, but yet to see a person under the age of 32. The Zano Car, thank you for the follow, and hello from Portugal. Hello from Australia, mate. And who do you support in world football? Theo Hernandez, I need a left-footed left-back because we need width to whip in balls. I do have the option to play Soppy as a left-back with a good right foot, and seeing how much left-backs cut in, that might be the way to go. Hernandez on the cusp, that will he play, won't he play as well? But I will I'll probably look to see if Hernandez will be around in the World Cup and start him. But as of right now, it's between him or Brandon Soppy. Soppy's really good, but is he a natural left-footed? I don't think so. He's 30, he's still worth 100 million. I might end up going for Soppy and letting him do his thing, and then saying he's rapidly fair, his left foot being a bit whatever, but there. So far, yet to see a player under the age of 30. Tushamendi's 32. Yes, he will be here in the World Cup in 2 years' time because his physicals are insane. Yes, he's world class. Playing him back a line because he is a very good defensive line playmaker on defend. But yeah, look, that's someone that, yet to see a person below the age of 30 here, YouTube. It's a recurring theme. Camavinga's the same. The only player that I've so far under the age of 30, because he's 29, be over the age of 30 in the World Cup. The reason why I've gone box to box is he's too good to be on a centre mid on support because he's that good at getting in and around and into the area with the mentals and everything. The slight change that I've made from my 4-3-3 here at Paris 13 Atletico is being a little bit more adventurous. But yeah, look, I am very happy to have him. He'll still be my captain because he's the captain of the French national side at the minute. Only player under 29, which is fine. The one position where we need a player, advanced playmaker on attack. We do not have an average one there at the moment. I've put in Diop because he's probably the best to fit it. Yet again, over the age of 32, if I've only got one player in the starting 11 so far that's under the age of 30, it means that we're probably going to have to look at some sort of youth going forward. You then have got Muhammad Ali Cho at 28. He'll be in his prime still when we get around to it. Playing on the left as an inside forward on attack. He's fantastic. He's got a very good left foot and he's fantastic at getting forward. Yeah, I know we don't have Mbappe, but Cho's going to be fantastic and we can play him up front. On the right-hand side is Mbappe's partner in crime in Fabio Mendes. The only guy 25 years or below in the starting 11. The only guy that maybe you could look to in the future saying French is number one. He is fantastic. He is world-class. He is one of the best players in Football Manager in this save. So to have him is very handy. He'll be on the left-hand side, which means that, yes, that is correct. That is Matthias Tell, who is obviously, I think as well, a player that does declare for Germany once every while on FM because he spends a lot of time in Germany. He's played 81 caps for France, 48 goals. He's your striker. He's elite. He's fantastic. As an advanced forward on the last man, yes, it's not Mbappe, but it's fantastic. If I had Mbappe would play on the right. Tell would probably play, Mbappe would play in the middle of the last man with Mendes on the left and Tell probably on the right with Cho missing out off the bench, but we don't have Mbappe to speak about. But yet again, looking at Tell, he's 27. We've only got 4 guys out of the starting 11 under the age of 30 right now. 2 of those being over the age of 30 by the time the World Cup comes around, which shows we have an aging squad. When you have a look at the bench, Saliba doesn't get in for now. He is fantastic. He'll be switching in and out. He's 31. He'll be over the age there going forward as well. Lucas Donaf, I've seen him grow better on FM to be fair. 28 will be 30 by the time the World Cup comes around. Brully at 25 is the only region that I've seen. They picked him for just some sort of depth. I don't think he makes my French national squad moving forward. Esteves, 30, another one. Apparently worth 200 mil because he's at Man United. He's a fantastic centre-back. But yeah, very, very good. Dayot Upamecano can play ball-playing defender and at defensive mid. 33 though, he's getting old. You're looking at Hugo Iteki. Very good either side. Good backup player I have, but he's not fantastic. Yet again, over 30. This is where I start to tell you there is some French regens that are very good at a young age, playing in the under 23s, that I think we're going to call up to get a couple of these guys out. Soppy's borderline should be starting as well. Desiree Du could play in the advanced playmaker role and attack as well, or with Diop. This is someone that is still going to be one of the very few under the age of 30 for the next World Cup. So, going to use him. Definitely will be in and around. Lafont's the third choice keeper. That's fair and reasonable. I haven't seen really too many keepers. And Belasciani is a very good ball-playing defender. Is a very good defender to have because he can play defensive mid, centre-back, left-back. We've seen this guy do many good things for PSG. He isn't the best, but he's very well-rounded. So as a squad player for the French national side, very handy indeed. Which means that moving forward, 2 key takeaways. Very good side for now. Could still be a very good side in 2 years' time. But there's a cliff of older players and you're literally staring right over the cliff going, you're going to be pushed and jumped soon. You know, you're going off the cliff. Everyone's too old. So, yeah, 2-year job, try win the World Cup. After 2 years, if we're somehow still in the job, so if we won the World Cup, this is a rebuild project and a half because France is literally about to get to a stage of where every one of their more experienced players are going to retire on them. And there is a world where a couple of these guys may retire from international football before the World Cup, which would be a shame as well. I am going to not just leave it there. I am going to show you a couple of key players here with potential. So potential, what you want is of this sort of potential. So like I've put Mbappe back in the national poll, which shows you how good Mendes is, how good Camavinga is, and Tushamendi is. There's a couple guys that get in that area. I'm going to highlight a few. Bryce Ferrer is going to be playing French international football at the age of 17. I'm calling him up for my next squad. He's fantastic. We're going to bleed him in. He's someone we are going to use. I would love to sign him at Paris 13 Atletico. We've got this guy here. He's 16 with potential, but I don't think he's too raw. Alessandro Del Vecchio is a left back. I still think he's too raw, but maybe by the time the World Cup comes around, if he's developed by the time he's 18, there's a potential player there. And Arthur's another one of these wingers. that at 19 is actually very usable, that if he develops that slight little bit, maybe he's a smoky for the World Cup as well. Outside of that, you can see there's some struggle town in terms of players to be picked. There's an Ingutchet, but I don't think he's ready. There's guys that have already been picked, which kind of tells you that unless there's not enough people in my scout to see how people go, in terms of potential or ability, there isn't any real big names missing out. You know, Jean-Claire Todd maybe, Amini Gori maybe at 32, but yet again, 31. There isn't like, oh my God, he's a really good guy. Maxime Chevalier, I'm probably going to call up for the national side at some point as well. There's a deep line playmaker in David Maliba, who, look, on paper is probably going to have to play some minutes as well. So, going to give him a scout report and scout report for the national side there as well, because he's not too bad. But this is where we're getting at. 23-year-old in Nobel, he's okay, but he's not great. This French national squad is hanging on by a thread, is what I'm saying. We're getting to a stage where I might need to look at, in the future, either hopefully me producing some talent or getting out of this team and leaving it for dead. Because, look, there's a lot of 30-year-olds that are there, but there's no one ready to get into this team just yet as well in the French national space. Very weird French national side at the minute. It's a spot where, look, there is people that could be selected, but they haven't been selected because of their age. The team itself is very old. I think what we are going to do is pick a few guys in the future. I don't know why Roman Perrin's coming up. I think it's mixed my couple other squads. I've not picked this guy for a national team. See what I mean? But yeah, look, it's an older squad. It's in a little bit of disarray. It's a team that may be still good enough to win the World Cup in 2 years. Hopefully we can. We have to bleed through a couple of these youngsters now to get them into the squad and integrated, right? Give them 2 years of the European Invitational Group A, whatever stuff they call it. Those friendlies, the international friendly stuff. Get through qualifying, which we should do with the squad we have. And then when the World Cup comes around, hopefully most of these boys have still got the physicals to go through a grueling World Cup period. With that being said, that's the end of the special episode 96. Is it 96? I think it's 96. I'm going to double check that now live in episode. Episode 96, where we have taken over as French national manager after being given the job, after being headhunted, after France got knocked out in the quarterfinal by Italy. Can we win the World Cup in 2 years with this squad, or a squad that consists of mostly these players? Should we stay in the job in 2 years' time if we win the World Cup to do a full French rebuild? Let me know in the comment section down below. From Damo and everybody else here, give it a like, go subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.
Yeah.